quadratic equations. You can see all the different methods. We've gone through graphing. That one you guys did not like, if you remember that, but that's where the graph crossed the x-axis. That was your solutions, because if it's crossing the x-axis, the value of y is 0. And then the factoring, we spent a lot of time on factoring. Square roots, you guys did. You guys are pretty good at square roots, and in fact, a lot of you preferred it over factoring difference of squares. We did not do completing the square, so if you want to make a little note of you don't have that one, we're not even going to go over it. But if you don't have completing the square, that really is okay because you can just use the quadratic formula. Okay. Alright, let's start with graphing. And if you look, they're giving us an equation, and we're going to see how many different ways we can solve this one equation. It's x squared plus 6x plus 5. So starting with graphing. What was that formula we used for graphing, Kayla?
I think it was vertex form.
No. Well, we did do vertex form, but there was an equation. I think Ethan might have said it. Very good. So to find the axis, we did x is equal to negative b over 2a. And that gave the x coordinate of your parabola at the bottom, or at the top, depending which way it is. We know what a, b, and c are. We only need negative b and a. For this equation, what is my a equal to? 1. Good. What's b equal to? 6. Very good. We're going to plug it in right here. So I'd have negative 6 over 2 times 1. What is negative 6 over 2 times 1? Negative 3. Good. And so I had you come over to where negative 3 is on the graph. Now you drew a dashed line. This is the axis of symmetry. Right where the parabola gets split in half, and it's also where the vertex sits. How did I find the y coordinate of my vertex?
Did you do the table?
What'd you say?
The table?
We did start the table from there. However, to get the y coordinates, though, what did we have to do? We did it in the table, too.
I don't remember that. It was a while ago.
We just plug the x back in.
Exactly, you plug the x in, and that's going to give you your y value. Alright, so from here, we would do negative 3 squared plus 6 times negative 3 plus 5. So we really turn this into y equals x squared plus 6x plus 5. So what do we get there? What did you get? Negative 4. I thought I heard 4. Alright, so that is my parabola. So then we're going to come down 4. We also did the table with this. I don't have a ton of room. We'll do the table right here. Negative 3, 4. What did I do to get my other values for the table? Very good. So I would go negative 2. Okay, you look ahead how many we have to go. Oh, we have to go a lot. I need a big table. Get yourself a big table. I went the opposite way of what I was doing in the notes. 3, 3 to negative 4, negative 5.
What's the formula of graphing?
Oh, I got halfway through and I think I put, or I erased it. I'm not sure. I just rewrote this. But they were really just graphing that parabola. We changed the 0 to 1. Alright, so we know that negative 3 is negative 4. Go ahead and on your own plug in negative 5, then plug in negative 4, then negative 2, negative 1, and tell me what you get in the table. 0, good. What did you get for negative 4? Negative 3. And negative 2 must be negative 3. What did you get for negative 1? 0. Good. So what were our solutions?
Negative 5 and negative 1.
Yeah, so where the y value is 0 would be the solution, which makes sense because that's what we're trying to do right there. So then we would write down negative 5, comma, negative 1 in the bracket. Then come over and graph it as well. We'll be okay with that one. we can also solve the same equation through factoring. So we're going to do that now. We have x squared plus 6x plus 5 is equal to 0. If I ask you to solve by factoring, what do I need to do? Very good. What are the factors of 5 that add up to 6? So I write down x plus 5, x plus 1 is equal to 0. Our a value is 1, so it's a very easy one to factor. What would my next step be? Yeah, and you mean like this, right? Yeah. And if you skip this step and just give me the opposite value, that is fine. So again, your answer is the exact same, which it should be. It's just a different method to solve that quadratic. Everybody good with the factoring one? Alright, so if you have a factorable equation, in my opinion, factoring is going to be the quickest. Unless it's a huge number, then you have to find those factors. Yes.
Could we use the factoring method to graph it?
Yeah, you could. Remember when we went into the what do we call it? The factored form graph? That was an actual form. Absolutely. But they're not all factorable, so it won't always work. Yes.
Does it matter which order you write the numbers in the brackets?
It's supposed to be numerical order.
Okay.
But I don't take off on it. Alright, what about the square root method? Have we used the square root method on this one? No, why can we not use the square root method? Very good. Very good. Since we have a b term or an x term, we cannot use it. So let's go ahead and make sure we write that out. Cannot use this method. Because there is an x term or a b term. So as you're looking through these and trying to identify what method is the best, if you do not have an x term, this is your best method. It's the quickest one. The next one we did not do, so we're going to go right down to the quadratic formula. So we're going to use the quadratic to solve the x squared plus 6x plus 5 equals 0. Quadratic can be used for any of the quadratics. It will always work. First, what is my a value? 1. Good. What's my b value? 6. And my c value? Great. Somebody tell me what to write down for the quadratic formula.
-6 -6 to the second minus 4 1 in the first parenthesis 5 in the second. Over 2.
Very good. It will be just 2 in the end, of course. Alright, what is 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times 5? 16. Good. Now we're going to have -6 plus or minus the square root of 16 all over 2. What is the square root of 16? 1. Now we have -6 plus or minus 4 over 2. Make sure if you take the square root, you don't keep writing the radical sign.
Well, this is not like it's like x.
Yes. Yes.
X equals -3 plus or minus.
Yeah, you could do that if you want to do -3 plus or minus 2. Alright, so now x equals what's -3 plus 2? -1. Good. And what is -3 minus 2? So again, we got -5, -1 for our answers. After seeing all of them, which method did you prefer? Of the 3 that we were able to do. What's that? I agree.
I like the quadratic.
Yeah, I like the quadratic. It always works. Connor?
How do numbers end up negative? I did that project.
Did you have 6 as negative?
Which 6?
This one right here.
Yeah, I had that one negative. Oh, I forgot to write negative.